Before we get going, we'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode of Disturbed. Hunt-A-Killer. Get 20% off on your first box with coupon code DISTURBED. Tweaked Audio. Get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty with coupon code Southgate. And Podlife the book. Go to orderpodlife.smgpods.com and order your book that features real stories about real podcasters. Welcome to Disturbed, Season 9, Episode 8, Rest in Pieces. I am Rob Southgate. With me is...
Chris Mao.
Hey, Chris. We are late, but you know what? We've got excuses. It's funny. I was reading a post today by a podcaster saying, never start out by saying that you guys are late and apologizing. It's the worst thing you can do because people listening later don't know. But the truth is, people listening to this are probably trying to listen to it while the show is airing.
Right.
So, you know what? They do deserve an apology. So, sorry that we were late. Molly, my daughter, was shooting a horror movie. And that made this really difficult to line up.
Yes.
So let's do a little bit of business up front. This episode of Disturbed is brought to you by Hunt-A-Killer. You can go to huntakiller.com, get your first month with a discount by using the code DISTURBED. And I believe you get 30% off. I should probably look that up before I spout that out. It might be 20% off. Whatever it is, it's a discount if you use the coupon code Southgate. We also want to thank our sponsors, Amazon.com and Tweaked Audio. So we actually have some really cool sponsors on this one. You want good headphones? Go to Tweaked Audio. For Amazon, it's an affiliate sponsorship. Basically, if you go to Amazon.smgpods.com before you shop at Amazon, we get a little bit of sliver of whatever you spent. It doesn't cost you a dime more. If you have Prime, if you have deals and discounts, you still get that discount. We just happen to get a little tiny commission off the top of it. So please do that before you shop this holiday season. Another announcement is we are putting out a gift guide, things we think you guys would think are really cool that are related to either horror or American Horror Story or to Disturbed in general. We'll have a gift guide out by next week. So definitely check us out on our social media, and you will see it there. You'll have it on our website. You'll have it on our Facebook page. You'll have it on our Instagram. It'll be everywhere. And you can find all those links at Linktree, linktr.ee/DisturbedPod. All the business
awesome.
out of the way.
That is
awesome.
awesome.
All right, Chris. So what do you think? Rest in pieces.
You know what? I think it's, I think there was some good stuff in there. We got to learn more about Dylan McDermott's character, what a scuzzbag. He's such a dirtbag. It's great. I mean, it opens up and you see the Mary Kay car drive by, and you're just like,
it was amazing.
It was so 80s. It was great. And then
when I saw it was a Mary Kay car, I was like, oh, this is just perfect. And he's there and he's got his thumbs, and she's like, oh, honey, let me take care of you.
Yeah, let me take care of you. And then
and
strangles her with her scarf. And
the way he takes care of her in the trunk, he's got her in the trunk, and then he's like, he just stabs her like here's a guy. This is kill number 6 is what he said, and he's so jaded that just stabbing without any type of connection, he's at that point. They are no longer human beings in his eyes at all. They are just numbers. They're stats.
He just did. It is, and it's funny how they do that. I mean, because to go back and I don't want to say preface it. First off, he kills they go back, flashback. He gets picked up by the Mary Kay killer. Then he's driving to the camp and picks up the hitchhiker dude, who's dead again. And he's like, "Hey man, I love hitchhikers and blah blah blah." And he's all he's all jaded and mad about women and listening to the CCR and just like this, totally stuck in the 70s. It was great. And then the trunk starts banging, and it's the Mary Kay lady in the trunk still alive, and he gets all mad. And he's like, he's not mad. He's like, I'm trying to listen to Creedence.
Creedence.
Not like, hey, you're in my, I took your car and you're still alive. he's mad because he's trying to listen
because
to
she's
Creedence.
disturbing his credence. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so then he stabs her, but they flash back to how he got picked up by her, and he's just delusional. He's like, man, I love the feisty girls, and
Oh my God,
it's bad. He's so scummy. It's great. He
And
is such a dirtbag.
It was so fantastic when he ends up with Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
Like it was just like I didn't know I was waiting for that.
Right. It's like, dude, you're my idol. You're my inspiration. And Richard Ramirez is like, I'm going to kill you. And then,
Right.
that's the greatness of how bad some of this is like, they just like on a dime. It's like everything turns. I mean, there's like 5 parts in this entire show where characters just like literally turn in a second, just like a bad 80s horror movie. Where
Right.
it's like they're going along. I'm going to go get this guy. Something happens. Oh, we're going to completely forget about them.
Yeah, they just turn on a dime.
They just turn on a dime because Mallory does it too.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, totally. Like in 2 seconds. Or she does it like twice in one scene. Like changes directions twice and you're like, huh? What's going on? I mean, and you kind of expect some of that, but it was great because. So to preface this, well, to go on, what's Dylan McDermott's guy's name? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
You know what? I am so
I'm drawing a
tired.
blank.
I can't draw anybody's name right now. So mustache
Bruce.
guy.
Bruce. His name's Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah.
So Bruce is driving up to the camp, and all of a sudden Ramirez and Jingles are fighting, and he hits Jingles like while they're fighting, and Jingles goes flying into the brush, and that's how Ramirez and Bruce meet.
Right.
And he's just like, you're my idol, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, I can't remember.
No,
where
that was
And then-
awesome when he hit him, and Ramirez is like, ticked off about it, like he's gonna gut him. And then Bruce is like, oh, hey, wait a minute, you're Ramirez. Yeah. And then he's like, well, he got away because of you. And he's like, oh, you're my hero. He goes, well, have you ever heard of Jingles? He's like, what? Is that who I hit?
Yeah.
It's
Well, he's like, I'm in the blood game too. He goes, I've killed
the blood
6.
game. What a great term.
I'm in the blood game, and I got 6. This is number 6. He goes, I want to get more than you, and that Ramirez should have killed him then, but whatever.
Yeah.
So Ramirez and Bruce go to try to hunt Jingles, and Ramirez is like, well, these aren't any women. This is big game, and he's like, yeah, whatever, I can do it. So I thought that part was funny when they go to stalk for Jingles, and then it gets a little wonky at the end, and he's like, peace out, I'm leaving. Bruce is like, takes like the shaky old drug addicted dude he is, like just kind of walks off, and I mean, it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I actually loved, you were saying at the beginning you thought it was a good episode. This actually made it one of my favorite episodes.
Right.
I completely loved all of this, from the moment the Mary Kay car showed up.
Oh yeah.
To him being, encountering them.
Kaja Gugu is dead.
Oh my God, Kaja Gugu what a great moment when we see Courtney walk around the bus and you hear the song.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh no.
Yeah.
And Kaja Gugu turns around. This is the tightest we've ever sounded.
So, and I can't remember if it was the last episode or that was the trailer for this week. Obviously Kaja Gugu gets killed by Richard Ramirez. And so then Courtney finds him and, completely freaks out. And then Margaret comes and she goes off. Kaja Gugu is dead, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, you need to clean this bus up. You need plastic film. You need garbage bags. You need rubber gloves. You need a shirt.
That was this episode.
Right, right.
And she's like,
you need a sharp cleaver.
Up.
Yeah, you need you need bleach. And he's like, I'm a small diminutive man.
Yeah, I'm a diminutive man. I can't do that.
Right.
She's like, oh, yes, you will.
Yeah.
But that was
cut him into, hold on. Her response,
great.
Cut him into smaller pieces. Yeah. Like, Margaret's awesome.
Oh my God. It was amazing.
Yeah. And then he does it. So he's chopping them up into pieces. The scene they show is he's carrying out a body in a bag, not really chopped up into small pieces with, what was that? A foot sticking out of the bag, a bloody foot.
I think it was.
Right. He's got his clothes on with a clear garbage bag covered with gore and these long rubber gloves up to his elbow and just walking around like this. And here's, like you said, here's Kaja Gugu play. And they're like, we're the tightest we've ever been. So they'll be playing. They'll be playing at the concert. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing that happened. And it was something we talked about last week. We're like, well, what happens to the other bands? She plans on killing them all.
Yes, well,
except Billy Idol.
Except Billy Idol.
And
So you know who
you're not taking Billy Idol out.
Right. They're both like, no, man, you ain't. It's like bad radio. It's like bad DJs, like old guys, like, you're not killing Billy Idol, man. Don't be doing that.
And I like the roadie when he has the box with Idol stuff in it. He's like, whoa, Idol's rings. You know, his bracelets, his rings, and all that. He's like, whoa. And he goes, he's like, no, you can't touch those. Hey, what band are you with? And he holds up his hand. Satan. You know, the guy's like, cool,
yeah. Well, he gives him a pick from Stephen Vai. He's like, man, I got one of Steve's guitar picks. And so then the next scene, he's like jamming a guitar.
You can't have these, but you can take a pick.
Yeah. So rock band 80s. So metal band. You know, throw the pick on the audience.
Great.
Well,
wait, that was Steve Vai? I couldn't remember that.
Stephen Vai was his guitar player. So
interesting.
Yeah. No, that's what he said. I got one of Steve's. Come on, dude. Where's your 90s metal? I know you weren't into that.
I forgot that. No, I actually like Steve Vai quite a bit. I forgot that he was the guitar player with Billy Idol.
Right.
Because Steve Vai is the one, isn't he the one that went and played with Frank Zappa? You should look him up, man. I think.
Well, no, Steve Vai's a great guitar. He might have played with Zappa, but I don't think.
No, I think there's a story about him with Zappa. Hold on, let me see if he played with Frank Zappa.
Well, Stephen Vai played. Remember the movie Crossroads with Ralph Macchio, and it's about obviously like the Crossroads. So he was the guy who played the guy. His character's name was Jack Butler, who was like a guitar player who sold his soul to the devil, and that's who he does the guitar riff off with at the end. Even though it's all him playing the guitar, it's kind of funny because he was classically trained. Stephen Vai is a great guitar player. It's fantastic.
Okay, hold on. I don't think that was Steve Vai. Because the story I know about Steve Vai is correct. Let's see who his Billy Idol guitar player. I want to see who it is. Rebel Yell. There we go. Let's go to Rebel Yell. See who the guitar player was, because I don't think that's who it was. Steve Stevens.
Oh, Steve Stevens?
Yeah, Steve Vai is the one that played with Billy or with Frank Zappa. Steve Stevens was the guitar player with Billy Idol.
Oh, okay.
And I remember back then, man, he was a rocking good guitar
he was
player.
great. Yeah, that's Steve's. I thought it was him.
It's Steve. Yeah.
But Stephen Vai is great.
Yeah, more praise to Steve Vai. Yeah, you want to hear a crazy story about Steve Vai? This is one that I heard. So when he was a teenager, he was obsessed with Frank Zappa. And Frank Zappa had notoriously difficult guitar parts, right?
Yeah.
And Steve Vai got an opportunity to audition for him.
Uh-huh.
And he was told before he walked in, the guy that was like pimping him came into Zappa and he said, look, Steve Vai knows every one of your songs, right? So he gets in there and he's all nervous to meet him. And he's like, oh, this is so great. I get to audition for you and everything. And Zappa's like, yeah, I hear you know every one of my songs. So he just picks one, like at random. He goes, I play that. Then I want you to play it in all the keys. Because that's how Zappa's band worked, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And supposedly Vai just starts playing any song Zappa could name. He would go right through it and then go right into the next key, then right into the next key. And Zappa's like, wow, you really do know like every one of my songs in every key. I mean, that is astounding. But that's how he ran his band. He used to do a thing where he had signals on stage. Because he would go, if you go to see me at a live concert, you don't want to hear what's on the album. You want to hear us do it different ways. Right. So he would tell the band, if I touch my nose, it's reggae style. If I put my finger up in the air, it goes into heavy metal. If I do this, we go triple time.
Would he switch mid-song or not?
Yes.
Get out of here. That'd be great.
And if you read, there's a book, the Real Frank Zappa book. It's his autobiography. It's just a great read. But he talks all about that in there. And he's like, yeah, that might have been a little bit harsh, but, it made for really interesting concerts.
Well, they were talented guys. I mean,
you had
to be
top-notch players.
You weren't like some slough just walking up and saying, hey, I want to play with you. So
Right.
Maybe early in them others have mentioned, but not when they got big. Yeah.
Not later.
No.
Not by Make a Jazz Noise here, that's for sure.
Oh, no, he's fantastic,
So is this the Zappa podcast? At first it was Steve Vai, that was wrong, and now we're on to Zappa.
So Steve Stevens, but still he's got the guitar pick. Then Ramirez is, air guitar and Rebel Yell and singing it badly. But,
so bad.
It is.
So bad.
And then, I don't know. I thought, I just loved all the, trying to get all the drama in this. Because, so it starts off with Brooke and Donna at a diner eating breakfast or lunch.
Yeah.
Waiting to get in the concert, and they're talking about things they're going to do. And Brooke is like fantasizing, oh, I want to live a real life, and I just need a new social security number, and I can disappear. And Donna's like, whatever. And then they get spotted. Then they get spotted by, of course, a writer from the National Enquirer who does horror books, serial killer books.
Fantastic. And of course, you knew she was lying when she's like, oh, you're so-and-so. Or she didn't know they were so-and-so. You look like them. And she's like,
yeah.
And they were just like, hey, let's get away from her. I knew. I'm like, they're going to go wherever they're going, and they're going to run into her, and she's going to flip the cards. I don't know. I saw it coming a mile away.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. But I didn't know that initially that she knew who they were, but then she saw Donna and went, oh, I know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, it took her a second to put
because the other one, Brooke, was supposed to be dead.
Right.
So she probably thought she looks like Brooke, but as soon as she saw Donna, forget it.
She put two and two together, and then all the history she had on, well, I paid $1,500 for this tape, and that must have been
she had the video.
Yeah, exactly. And she was carrying it with her to Camp Redwood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient. And the crappy hotel in 1989 had a VCR. Amazing. Right. Yeah, exactly.
At a camp.
At a camp. Yeah. Well, I mean, outside of town.
Still.
Where all these murders happen. So, I mean, it was great. And she was so 80s. So late 80s. The big glasses.
She looked exactly like a woman that I was in an improv group back then. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, hey, that looks like so-and-so. And Martha's like, that looks exactly like her. Like the glasses, the clothes, the way she talked. We're like, that is straight out of 89.
Straight out of Compton. That's all I got to say. No, it was. Yeah. They really do nail it well. I think they got the vibe. And then she goes, Camp Redwood is everything that's wrong with the 80s. I'm like, what? That was a great. She said that. I'm like, no, that's Kaja Gugu, actually, which is everything bad about the 80s. But,
Kaja Gugu.
Yeah, it's just, but.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Kaja Gugu is dead.
No. What am I going to do? I'm diminutive.
Long live Cricket. He better be in the next series. That's all I got to say.
Oh, my gosh. Maybe that was the hint, because, that was the big thing. They said that, Brad Falchuk said that there was a huge clue in this one about what next season is about. Maybe it's Cricket.
Maybe it's all Cricket.
I actually have Cricket. I have a theory about what next season's about, but we'll get there.
We'll get to, we got a final show to do. Hopefully,
No. I want to spit it out tonight so that if other things unfold, I want to see if I'm right.
Well, yeah, exactly. But there were just so many.
Tease that for the end.
There were so many great lines, and then but between God,
I can't think of any lines, but I was going back to Brooke and Donna.
Yeah.
Brooke was, I don't want to say she had a death wish, but she kind of had a death wish, where they no longer care. It's like, I'm already dead.
Right.
So,
well, she's in that, that I'm dreaming of a future, but I want to be the fugitive kind of. I mean,
right.
They switch between, we have to get this revenge, and she's like, I wonder what my life will be like after I get out of this. Like, you've been through all this. You're not going to be the same regardless.
Yeah, and if you're going to try and like kill somebody, because that's what Donna stopped her from doing.
Yeah,
it's like, well, she was going to kill the National Enquirer girl, and you're like, what? You're not coming back from that.
Oh, they took care of that though.
Yeah, right. I thought all of that was. I think if it had been a different season, I wouldn't have played into that as well.
Oh no.
But because of their playing with all these tropes, and they keep, like you said, they keep switching, like their perspective.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I totally bought all of it. I was having fun with it.
It's such a bad B movie. I mean, with
it really is.
Plot, like it's that's what's fantastic. I understand like why my wife doesn't like this season very much, because it is all over the place. I think this is what makes it so fantastic.
Me too.
Is that you really have to try to be this bad. I mean, it's
true.
Right. It's like being a bad actor. I mean, not like being a good actor acting bad. It's really, really hard to be like that. I mean, and Dylan McDermott is doing his best at being bad, because he is horrid, and it's great.
It
is
fire in this.
He looks bad. He His acting bad. He's just
he's chewing the scenery. He's being that like overblown actor in each thing. And the thing is, we've seen him in other stuff aside from American Horror Story.
Oh, great.
He's always good.
No, he's always good. He's a very good actor.
He's a solid actor. And if you think about season 1, that character versus this guy, I mean,
oh yeah,
it's not even the same person in any way.
And that's what's great about it because it's so bad.
I have a feeling that he's been waiting around saying, everyone else got to do multiple characters on this thing. I got that one shot. Give me something crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Give me an Evan Peters.
Give me
a Kathy Bates. Well,
even Sarah Paulson playing the Siamese twins. I mean, she's fantastic. They all get
twins.
They all get
always
that,
one of my favorites.
Right. They get the gem. You get the gem character, and he's by far either that or Trevor. I think Trevor's
amazing.
Too. He's so bad, and we need to talk about him too. The whole we
got to talk about him.
Oh, well, so he and Mallory. He sees Mallory when they get to the camp, and he's automatically
Mallory. Wait a minute, it's not Mallory.
No, he does. It's Mallory. That's her name, right?
No,
he's married to Margaret. Mallory is the blonde. Yeah, it is.
No, Montana.
Mallory, Montana, whatever. It's all the same.
It is the 80s. Mallory was a popular name.
It's the same bad. It's the same bad. Yes, it's the same. So sees Montana. I'm in love with you, Montana, because he misses those days, and like it's back to his,
Yeah, the
whatever.
days that he went and swam in the lake with her once, and then they got like stalked by a serial killer. But he wants those days back.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they have. Yeah.
Although his life is pretty horrible with Margaret. So
the aerobics, because when they make the line, so basically what they do, they hook up and they're and he's like, I love you, Mallory. I know it's Montana. I love you, Montana. I want to be like this with you forever. And then she's like, well, what about your wife? It's like she knows. I mean, number one, Montana knows that Margaret is the killer,
right?
And she's a huge, huge DB. She's just like a horrible person. And then she's like, well, what about your wife? It's like, that's that bad dialogue. It's like, I hate to say it, George Lucas might have written this. But it's that bad, it's that bad dialogue. And then he's like, oh, I just want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. But then he talks about, he goes, the 80s are horrible, or the 90s are going to be horrible. Nobody does drugs like they used to. There are no more aerobics classes. And Montana's look was like, no aerobics classes? Oh my God. Did you see her look when he said that line? She was like really upset. And that was great.
Right. The other thing is, I was just thinking about when they were in the bed, that was a good scene when they were talking about them being ghosts. Like, we're getting a lot more explanation of the ghosts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And they were in bed and he's like, oh, could you not orgasm? And she's like, no, I can. I can do it. I feel everything. I feel everything. Everything just feels hollow. I was like, hey, that's a really interesting take.
Sure.
Because it adds so much to those ghosts.
Right.
They're physical. They can touch things. They can feel all this stuff, but they feel hollow. And so when they're killing people, it's not like they just kill and they have nothing. They are feeling. They're feeling it.
Right. Well, she said they can feel anger, pain, happiness, joy, blah, blah, blah. They just, there's always like that longing. And, they even described it with Jingles when he came back and, who was there?
Jingles. With the guys that were dressed like fake Jingles?
Well, no, but who was, when he first came to?
Who was standing there?
Yeah, what's the guy with Cody Fern's character? I'm sorry.
Xavier
sees him there. He's like, oh, or isn't that the one who tells him about you keep coming back? And
yes.
You keep feeling it and you feel it again and again. And, he was like explaining it to him, like the process.
Yeah, like I said, it was the hitchhiker. Was explaining all that stuff.
It was the hitchhiker that told him. The guy with the bandana.
Yeah, he
first
did.
Time he came
Xavier
back.
had something too. I forgot about the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hitchhiker explained that in the beginning. And then
Right.
Xavier had a scene where he explained it again later. He was explaining stuff to him so that, like, we really get a sense of what's going on with these ghosts.
Right. Well, they die, they come back, he goes,
and they're stuck there.
We're going to torture you forever. But we knew they were stuck there because they even said that they explained that when we saw Lily Robb, when we saw the mother.
Right.
Because she died and is so angry. she's keeping everybody there.
Right.
And which we need to talk about. I don't know if now's the appropriate time or later on. So
you want to talk about how we were wrong last week?
Yeah. Well, yeah. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, I think so too. So Jingles. Let's go about Jingles. Jingles kills himself so he can stay at the camp to kill Ramirez.
Right.
So he can keep killing Ramirez and hunting him down.
Right, because he's got to kill him. And then he realizes, I have to kill him. He can't leave the camp.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm stuck here, and he can go do whatever he wants.
Right. Well, he figures he has to kill him, so he kills himself so he can keep hunting Ramirez.
Right. Good plan, actually.
Well, yeah, except that the fact that Ramirez can just leave, and Jingles can never go get him. Which is,
and here's the other part of it not being a good plan. Ramirez already died once, and Satan brought him back.
Right.
So even if Jingles, cuts his throat,
right,
he rises, he leaves, and Jingles is stuck there.
Jingles is stuck there. So but then the other characters who Jingles killed, most of them, or all of them, are there, and they've been around for a while, so they know what to do. So they basically are going to torture Jingles. And so that's what happens is Jingles comes back and
they blame him for killing him.
Right, which he did. So they're all mad.
Xavier's like, you put me in an oven.
Yeah, after I was shish kebab.
Come on, man! You put me in an oven, burn me up. Of course, I'm mad at you.
Right.
And then the three guys that were dressed like him, including Wideload, they were all mad at him. They start kicking the crap out of him.
Wideload didn't get killed by Jingles. He got killed by Ramirez.
No, but he's in with those other guys.
Right. But
he's in with those. Yeah, he's trying to be cool with those other guys. And even though the other guys killed Wideload, the reason Wideload was there was Jingles.
Sure.
So he wasn't the one that was like, I'm going to kick the crap out of you, but he was mad at him because it's his. If it wasn't for Jingles and what had happened before, they never would have gone out there. He never would have been killed.
Yeah, I know that's a little weak, but no, I
didn't say it wasn't weak.
I know, he is. He's just mad because he's being mad. So but they torture Jingles, stab him, and then Cody Fern's like, well, we'll let him just bleed out and suffer longer because he's going to come back anyway. Right. So they kick him into a boat, shove him out in the middle of the lake, and then
be still my heart,
be still my Friday the 13th heart.
Wait, before it happens, yeah, right. Before that happens, he looks, and Montana's standing on the opposite shore.
Right.
And he looks at her, and then the end of Friday the 13th.
Yes, comes jumping up.
Scuzzy Jason, or in this case, Scuzzy Bobby, comes out.
Scuzzy Bobby comes up and gets him.
Frog Boy, and grabs him and pulls him in. Actually, I think, if I remember right, that's what they call him. That's what they refer to Jason in the notes or something, or in the credits.
Frog Boy?
As Frog Boy.
Nice.
Yeah. So, their version of Frog Boy comes out, and Toad Boy. We'll go with Toad.
Toad Boy.
He comes out and pulls Jingles down, which blows our whole conversation from the last episode. Because we were saying, when did the blood curse start? And we said it was when
Lily
the
Robb
mom died.
Right. That's really
when Jingles stabbed the mom. Right. But Bobby died before that. And here he is back, which also then means we're totally speculating if Bobby is the beginning of the blood curse. It could be anybody. It could be the land is cursed from, they could go, well, it's a native Indian burial ground.
What if it's Roanoke? That would be fantastic.
Oh my God. It could be.
that would be the time.
What if next episode we see Lady Gaga's witch come out of the woods?
Yeah.
What if that's what they should have done? Instead of having Montana on the other side of the water, had that witch standing there. And you'd have been like, is that?
Or Kathy Bates.
Is that the tree witch?
Come on. Kathy Bates would have been.
Just standing there.
As the butcher would have been fantastic.
With her cleaver?
Yes.
Just standing there like, come on, boat boy, get over here. No, Frog Boy took him.
Frog Boy took him. But that was great. And then Benji wakes up, Jingles wakes up, and there's Mom and his little brother,
right? And they're just
having
a picnic,
just like he's. And Bobby
Happy
tells a great
family.
joke. What did the Mayo say to the refrigerator? Close my door. I'm dressing. That's great. Boo. Alil tells those jokes. No, I'm teasing. So I love you, Alil. But yeah, so they do it. Then Lily Robb's like, well, we're back together as a family.
Right.
Well, she said you brought Bobby back. So
Right.
maybe it was him. Maybe it was his anger and sadness that started the blood curse. Even though Bob died.
Yeah, but he didn't. I mean, just being angry shouldn't have caused a blood curse.
But what about his longing because his brother died and he was so upset, and it was his being distraught that did it.
that brought him back when he was out in the water.
That brought him back when he was in the water, or
because
brought him
he kept
back.
saying, he was sitting on the dock saying, I know you're out there. I know you can hear this. And he could, apparently.
Yeah, apparently he's at the bottom of the lake. So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of, maybe it is all him, but I mean, you got to see Lily Robb not being the mother that she probably could have been, or
right. She was
should have
happy,
been.
and she was
She
being
was
a mother.
happy being a mother, and was good to Benji. And even though Benji's
it's going to be like in Big Top Pee-wee, they're all sitting there eating their egg salad sandwiches.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, no, I thought that was cool, but also,
hey Chris, I think you just did the worst impression we've had
it's
on
awful.
this show.
I can't talk.
That
That's
is saying something.
That's even low for you.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's a pretty good.
No,
cricket.
that was terrible impression.
That's a good cricket.
Oh,
That's a good
no.
cricket. That's your best impression.
It is
much better than your impression of yourself. So.
Oh no, that was terrible.
Oh
no!
The cricket. Oh no! Cricket is fantastic. When you told me he was in, I saw his name on the credits, and I'm like, oh, Leslie Jordan, that'll be good. And I'm like, it didn't click on me that it was cricket. I'm like, oh my god! I think I texted you. I'm like, cricket. That was great.
So happy to have him back. Okay, what have we missed in this one? We talked about the girls. We talked about
how about the bad when they're every scene where somebody's doing something, and then they would cut away, and it would be Margaret's looking, or Richard Ramirez is looking at what's going on. Every scene was that bad. The bad person is looking. Do you know what I'm saying? So they got Brooke and Donna talking, and they cut away, and there's Margaret staring at them.
Right.
And not concealing
they
themselves.
That.
Every
it
scene
would look like somebody,
that.
because when he was in the water, they did that one more time. And then when we got the POV from the water, we saw that it was Montana out there.
No, I think Montana was just on the other side and was watching. I don't think that was that POV, but the other one was Margaret's watching. Richard Ramirez is watching. Then all three of them are watching, and they're all just kind of staring there looking stupidly.
I was thinking they just kept doing this thing where there was always somebody watching. But you're saying it was one of those three.
Well, because he
got
how
up
about
to one time when they had their little ghost council or whatever.
Yeah.
And the camera pulls, and if you're watching it, it's 2 feet away. The three of them are standing there listening.
Yes.
How did these people not see the three of them standing there? And they're not ghosts.
No, I know. That's the greatness of it. That's how bad it is. Because, the thing with Montana, he was getting up to speak to Montana. He was getting up to say something to her. Right. It wasn't
and Frogboy pulled him under.
Right. It wasn't like there was a scene and then they would leave and then they would cut back and see the villain staring at him going, if they would have a handlebar mustache, exactly. It would be like Snidely Whiplash is sitting there. I'm going to get you. You dang kids.
No, instead it's a big porn stash. Yeah.
That mustache is
Dylan McDermott.
No, not his.
You're talking
about Trevor's is majestic. That's the majestic.
No, they're both pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Well, with the bad blue blockers on, it's it's and his bandages, the bandages with no thumbs.
Right.
Yeah. What a great sight gag. Yeah, the blood on it. The dude's like, "What happened to your hands?" Ah, never mind. I like the feisty girls. Come on.
Oh, Ramirez lets him live.
Yeah. Well, because Ramirez is
just great. It's just great that you've got the ghosts and you've got the serial killers.
Right. And
these weird factions.
They're all idiots. Ridiculous idiots. I mean,
so what do you think's going to happen in the final episode?
Well, one more thing. Jingles is tied up and he's spilling his guts saying, "You need to let me go so I can save my son." And then he's like, "You can torture me all you want." And they're like, "Whatever." And he tells everybody that Montana was dating Richard Ramirez and he brought her up to the camp. And they're all kind of like, Xavier just looks at him and says, "What?" And that's all they say about it the whole time. It's like, dude, he killed half of the people on the dock and they're not mad at her.
Right.
And then that's where she does her little, her little twist where she like changes characters because she goes, I had to be alone like for 15 minutes. And then Trevor goes and talks to her and she's like, I hate you. And she goes on this big diatribe about how all this stuff is. And then she's like, I hate you. I don't want to see you again. Yeah. And then big spoiler, they show it. They show it either in the future or relatively near in the future. And Trevor's dead and living there and they kill him.
Yeah.
It's like he just did whatever he wanted anyway. And he was like so heartbroken.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right.
He's whatever. It's just amazing.
So, what do you think is going to happen next episode?
They're going to kill Billy Idol for sure. Billy Idol's dead. Because
it would be great if Billy Idol showed up.
Well, no,
that would be
if it is Billy Idol,
and it would be great if Steve Vai showed up and they're like, "Why are you in the band?" It's
Steve,
like, I don't know.
Exactly, it's Steve Stevens. Sorry about that. I apologize, Steve and Vi. I love you. I love your playing. So,
but if it's you think they're going to kill off all the musicians?
Well, I think they're going to attempt because like they're like, we get to kill Flock of Seagulls, the Go-Go's, and you're like, oh, God.
Flock of Seagulls.
Hey, they had 2 songs, not 1. 3. They actually had 3. They were pretty good. So,
I've been asleep for so long, Austin. What did I miss?
Yeah.
Well, there was the 70s, and then there was the 80s, then there was a Flock of Seagulls, and that's about it.
That's about it. There was a Flock of Seagulls. Well, I love how he said, he goes, fashion's horrible. Everybody's wearing flannel, like grunge is starting. It's great.
Yeah. It's right on the cusp.
Grunge didn't hit till 90, I don't think. Like,
Right.
literally like 90. It was like,
It was like overnight. It went from hair metal to boom.
Oh, yeah. Well, but it was like Soundgarden and
Nirvana.
Well, Nirvana did, but it was Pearl Jam did it before Nirvana, I think.
Nope. Nirvana was first.
Were they?
It was when Nevermind came out. It was like a bomb went off. It was like overnight.
It did change that, but it did change.
And
I think
they
Pearl
were
Jam.
on.
I think Pearl Jam and
was
Temple of
after,
the Dog.
because Nirvana was the headliner on Lollapalooza. My brother-in-law went to see him, and Pearl Jam was an opening band. And he came out of that, and he was like, "There's this band. They're incredible. They opened for Nirvana. They're called Pearl Jam." No, Nirvana was first. They hit before Pearl Jam hit. And then right after that, that's when you found out about like Screaming Trees and the Soundgarden and Mudhoney and all those bands. But it was Nirvana broke through. They were the first grunge Seattle band to have a big #1 splash like that. And that's why they were on all the covers of everything before everybody. You saw the flannel, you saw the ripped jeans. That was them. They were first. If you look at the dates, you'll see that Nirvana had Nevermind out before 10 was out. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up. I don't doubt it. I just remember I thought Nirvana was big, but I thought they were in not the second wave, but they were like in the same time. But I thought Pearl Jam and like Soundgarden, I thought Black Hole Sun was before all of that. And then
no. Smells Like Teen Spirit was from Nevermind in 1991. Pearl Jam, let's see when 10 came out. Excellent.
91.
I spell checked Pear Jam.
Pear Jam.
So
that came out in 91
want to form
as well.
Their own band? It's called Pear Jam.
When did Nirvana come out? Pearl Jam came out in 91 too.
Right. It was Nirvana hit, and right after they hit, it was when 10 came out. 10 was in 1991. It was right after that because they opened for Nirvana. Nirvana had already hit.
Nirvana was released. I'm just telling you, Nirvana. Nevermind was released a month after 10. I want to say Jeremy hit, and like I remember hearing about Pearl Jam and Soundgarden before I heard about Nirvana. I remember a kid that worked for me came in and said, "There's all these great bands coming out of Seattle," and I remember him telling me about Pearl Jam. But then, like really immediately, I don't think Pearl Jam hit as big as Nirvana did. Nirvana did Teen Spirit, and that was like, I think Teen Spirit was the one that changed it, but I don't think they were out first. Okay. They may have been playing. I mean, that's the way I remember it. I could be completely wrong because I can't remember yesterday, let alone 30 years ago. But I mean,
I could have it wrong too, but I feel pretty positive in what I'm saying. Hold on, I bet there is a grunge timeline. Let's go to the computer. Let's see what it says.
Let's go to the computer. Let's go to the way back machine.
Cult origins.
Because
Blah,
I
blah,
don't,
blah.
I mean, I don't dispute that Nirvana was the one that changed everything. They were the ones that said this is like Seattle is the place to be. Blah blah blah. But is that kind of like Poi Dog Pondering and God, here's the great memory lapse I got going on. So
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I'm getting close. Never mind. September 24th, 1991. Vetter joins the band.
and Stone Temple Pilots was out. I think.
Oh, you're right. 10 did come out first. What did I say for Nevermind? September?
But I think like they came out in August. I want to say Pearl Jam came out, and then so did Soundgarden, and then they did kind of Temple of the Dog together. Remember, like there was Temple of the Dog because they had guys from that and from Alice in Chains, and they had all those like that super group.
Yep.
But they never had like they weren't really popular. But then as soon as Nevermind, like as soon as Teen Spirit hit. And I don't want to say Teen Spirit hit right when it came out. It was like a couple months later, and they did the video, and then you're like, "Oh my God, this could be one of the best songs ever written." And then
I was the guy who, when I first heard it, was like, this is just another band. Like, I just thought they were like punk posers, is what I felt like back then. And then my brother-in-law went, "You need to listen to this album."
Yeah.
And then I was hooked. Then I heard 10, and I was like, oh, my God.
10 is the same way. I mean, all those, hey, welcome to the 80s top flashback. Yeah. I mean,
Vitalogy.
Soundgarden was great.
Soundgarden.
I loved Alice in Chains. I mean, all of them were great. I mean, and they were just, it's like those 4 or 5 bands just crushed it. And you're like, okay, this is great. So.
Hey, remember the 90s?
Yeah. There were some good bands. I mean, yeah.
Oh, my God. Get off my lawn. That's what we just turned into about the 90s.
The post-grunge bands in this Wikipedia talking about Creed, Nickelback, Korn, and Limp Bizkit. I mean, come on.
That they have missed the mark with that lineup right there.
Well, my theory is there's always 3 waves of music. There's the originators like Soundgarden, those first bands we talked about originated grunge. They were the first ones that did it. And then there were all the copies that are, some of them are pretty good, or really talented musicians say, hey, if I make music that sounds like this, I'm going to be popular because Nirvana's popular. So everybody sounded like that. And then there's the third wave where it's just every hack in the world that wants to sound, hey, we're going to wear flannel and sound like this. Guys that were heavy metal players and are like, well, maybe I should put some flannel on and grow some long hair. And
it's kind of like podcasters. There were those first 2 waves, and then the hacks when we came in.
Yeah. That man,
we're the imitators. We start putting on bathrobes and hanging out in our basements.
We insulted hacks in that statement, but what I mean. So they were obviously there, but I mean that was legit.
Oh yeah, man. All right,
and then we got Live and Creed.
I love Live. Cut it out. Creed is awful.
Creed. Live was good.
Great.
Yeah, Live, great might be a stretch, but they were very good.
No, man, I had their EP right before they had hit. It was
you loved Gavin Rossdale.
Oh my God, I loved their EP was so good.
They were talented. They are. I will give them
before Throwing Copper, and I was like, my God, these guys are amazing. Throwing Copper was really great, but then they kind of fizzled.
Well, you know what? At some point in time, you got to go for the money because you're doing that and you're living in 10 people in an apartment.
Right.
I mean, maybe not everybody, but a majority of those guys, they were all living in an apartment before their number one song hit, and then they get $1 million, and then of course they have drug addictions, and they were they were eating ramen noodles, like one ramen noodle between 10 of them so they could eat.
Been there.
It's understandable. Yeah, I mean,
I
hate to be like this. Guns N' Roses, those guys literally all lived in the same apartment.
Right.
All of them. Like Motley Crue did. Motley Crue lived all in the same apartment.
And then they get imagine that they were good about replacing the toilet paper rolls, too.
No. What? Toilet paper? What are you talking
Soap?
about?
What's that?
Oh, yeah. Those guys, and they were accomplished, like, indie players. Guns N' Roses, they were well known from,
Yeah.
LA Guns.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever Axl Rose's band was. I mean, those guys were legit and they played at big clubs. They were playing the whiskey and stuff in LA. And then, but still they were living like, morons. So
We have gone so far off track now.
Yeah, that's okay, but but this is the 80s, so
I want to know, what do you think is going to happen in the next episode?
Well,
are we just going to have this play out, and we're going to find out if Brooke is the final girl? Or I don't think she is. Are we going to find out? I mean, is it going to play out like everything else is played out? Like, yeah, this is a typical 80s thing with a twist. Or are they going to flip some cards, and we're going to find out we don't know what the hell's been going on?
So let me ask you, what do you think your theory is going to happen? What do you think the Easter egg for next season is?
You want that?
Well, because I think that changes, because I have my idea what's going to happen. So
I think the Easter egg was when they talked about the National Enquirer.
Okay.
To me, it felt out of place.
Sure.
And they mentioned Bigfoot and aliens and Loch Ness, and I'm like, yeah, they've been teasing this alien thing for a while.
Right.
I think next season is going to be involving like aliens. We might even get like the interdimensional Bigfoot type stuff going on. We might get some weird cryptid stuff without even really seeing it. Maybe they'll do one where they're Bigfoot hunters.
As long as they bring back Dennis O'Hare as the hunter, that would be great.
But it could be, it could be something completely wacky like that, like a reality show that's out there trying to find aliens, and all of a sudden, like, some real crap goes down.
Yeah, but they kind of did the real.
They toyed with it. They did the reality thing. It doesn't have to be reality.
Right.
I just mean, I guess that's not a good way to put it. I think that it's going to involve that stuff. How they're going to do it, I don't know. And they have not ever relied on like big CGI things, so they're not going to do that.
Right.
They want to stick to the horror element.
But they could do physical. They could do physical gags for aliens. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. They can get away with enough. They have enough budget.
Maybe they'll do reptilians.
Like V.
Maybe they'll do Bat Boy.
Great. They could do V. Or
yeah,
that would be.
No,
you know what? I think that's not a bad call. I mean, they teased an appearance by Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, but she could be anything. She could
be anything. But they also have talked about doing something with Coven.
Right, that's what next season was supposed to be, but then they haven't been saying that. So
well, they haven't been, but they're great at not telling you. But whatever. But what if the whole thing about Montana saying we want to kill enough people, so they bring somebody there that can do something about it? So instead of letting them go, Sarah Paulson as the Prime condemns them all to be there, but they actually enjoy it. Because from the clip, it seemed like Montana and Trevor were actually having a good time. So instead of killing somebody, they were like goofing on the guy about killing themselves and coming back and doing all that stuff. So maybe they all get sent, like kept at Camp Redwood, but maybe they're the only ones that can see it themselves or something. And like they have all these bands that play their 80s music, so they kill all these 80 bands. So let's say Flock of Seagulls, Kaja Gugu, the Go-Go's are all there playing this festival, and their entirety is them just being at this festival and they enjoy it. So, I mean, maybe it's like that stupid, oh, this is going to be great, and that's what happens.
Could be. It literally could be. I have no idea.
I mean, because Jingles is happy he's with his family. They're just sitting there having a picnic, playing by the lake. Maybe everybody finds their sweet spot where they want to be. And
you mean like this one ends with a happy ending, basically?
Basically, well,
a bloodbath that turns into a happy ending.
Happy ending, yeah. So, I mean, maybe, I don't know, because none of them have ever ended happy, have they?
Except for Margaret. They kill her just outside of the campgrounds.
Right, exactly. Ramirez takes her out and kills her outside the campgrounds, and then...
Right.
Yeah, well, I love how they do it. We don't want to kill that guy. He's a dick.
Yeah, right.
He's a jerk. We don't want him here.
Not him. Oh. Yeah.
Well, and they're all selling each other out.
Why do you have to kill Kaja Gugu? Right. Why couldn't it be Billy Idol's band?
At the ghost council, whatever you're calling it, they all sell out Ray. Yeah, everybody here is pretty cool except for Ray. He's a bad guy. It's like, come on.
I know Ray's like, what?
Yeah. Well, and then Donna says that you could be the final girl, and she's like, well, we could both be final girls. Oh, they don't let people of my color live that long. Usually we're first. They threw that in there, but Ray was the first one killed too. Wasn't he?
Yep, I think so.
Well, the first of the group, not the first.
First of the main group, yeah.
First of the main group, yes.
Decapitated. Although we thought it was going to be the guy, the muscle guy, but he lived through getting stabbed through the chest at that point.
Yes, of course, because, they did some field dressings, and then he was out. They're like making him carry stuff.
Right.
Come on, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, carry stuff. Okay, I'm better. I'm a steroided up Olympian.
Yeah, right.
What's that was so God. What a horrible storyline. It's so bad. It's great.
I'm done. Are you done?
I am done too. So
all right. So one quick thing. Normally we'll record this on Thursday, but Chris cannot record this Thursday, so we're going to wait. We're going to bring this to you probably early next week, right, Chris? Is that what you're thinking?
Sure. Well, we'll see how it goes. If maybe
we'll see how it goes.
We don't know. Maybe we never know what's going to happen. So
right. So we'll see where this takes us. But we are definitely, this is the first season in a while that we've completed. We are completing this season.
Hold on, we're almost completed, yes, but we're
and I don't know if you've been looking at the social media stuff, but I've been adding all sorts of fun stuff to Facebook, and
you have been.
I've got a lot more going forward. So I've got plans because this is not going to stop at the end of the season. I've cut back on all my shows.
Yes,
so it's literally this, New Media Lab, This Week in Geek. And then, I mean, if Molly, we might do a Cuckoo for Who, but that's, but we're not doing, I'm not doing any of the other shows.
If the show ever comes back. I know. They're supposed to drop a trailer. Yeah, they're supposed to drop a trailer this weekend, so.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. Chris, why don't you give your social media?
Absolutely. It can be found at Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media. Also at GeeksCon, geekscon.com, GeeksCon on all the social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram.
Great. And you can find this show at Disturbed Pod. You can find it Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Go to Linktree. Linktree, linktr.ee/disturbedpod. And it has all the links to all our social media, including the website and everything. And from there you can get links in the show notes to Hunt a Killer.
Yes,
definitely do it. It's so freaking cool. Find a serial killer from the comfort of your own home.
Yes.
And
write for the Inquirer awesome. and write a book.
And it is a great gift. If you know somebody that would like really enjoy something like that, just get them the first month and get that discount. And then if they like it, they can continue on from there. But it's an awesome gift. So there you go. We are done. Look for all the stuff in the show notes. Look for our Christmas suggestion list coming out in the next week. And next time you hear us, we will be talking about the season finale of American Horror Story 1984.
And also, maybe, I'm going to throw this out there. Maybe we could do a little bit of roundtable with some of our fans if they want to after the season finale.
I would love it.
We'll do a bonus episode. So, again, you know what? You guys, on our Facebook page, give us your ideas what you think is going to happen next. Interact with us. Leave us messages. Ask questions. Make statements.
Yeah, it happens tomorrow night, so you want to hit us up pretty quickly with that.
But hey, let us know.
Yeah, man. All right, time for the theme music. If I can make it work. Yeah, man, that's it for Disturbed. We will be back with the final episode of the season. But that's not the final episode of Disturbed, not by a long shot. So stay with us. We will be doing all this stuff, having fun interaction about horror, about American Horror Story, and talking about our book Pod Life, and a lot of cool things that I have not revealed that even Chris doesn't. All right, now everybody, back to your campers. Oh wait, is it cabins?
Cabins, campers,
whatever.
Go swim in the lake with Toad Boy.
Oh no!
Oh no! Kaja Gugu is dead.
I'm diminutive.